Welcome to this Unity scripting tutorial. In this lesson, we are going to create an exercise in which there will be few cubes which will be created in the beginning, and then we will be moving objects from the user's input, and we'll do this through a Unity script. So in essence, we'll capture user's input, we'll move objects through user's input through Unity scripting. Secondly, we'll also create another script to actually expose variables to the interface. So there's a script that we will create. It will be using a variable to control the speed of moving objects, but that variable will actually be exposed in the interface, meaning it will be outside the script. So the user, while running the game, can actually manipulate that object, that 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 variable, so that the speed can be manipulated, can be increased or decreased. Number 3, we will be learning how to access instances which we have created in our project, in our game, inside the script. So we'll be using that GameObject.find method to actually access the objects which we create over here inside the script, which we can also do by drag and drop, which is the easier way. But if for some reason we want to use the script to find it, and we don't want to use the drag and drop, for instance, if we want to apply one script on many objects, then in that case we would like to use that GameObject.find method and not physically apply that script on each and every object, because objects can be instantiated dynamically. So we'll also learn how to instantiate objects in this lesson. So let's start with 3 basic components. I'll start off with a cube, and I'll give it these dimensions: 5, 0.1, 5 again, and I'll name it plane. And I'll create another cube and I'll place on top of it. Yes, it's placed on top of it. Here's my main camera. Main camera is here. Okay, so now this is actually the preview, how it looks like. You can actually change how you're looking at the camera, how you will see the result from here also. So if you run this, you will see the game exactly similar to what you see in the preview. So you can actually move it down, up, left, right, whatever you want to do. This is what you can do. Once this is done, we've got right now actually 3 objects: main camera, plane, cube, and we've got no scripts at all up till now. Let's create one spotlight, okay, and or maybe let's say one point light, and right now we'll point this on top of the cube, okay. And for the sake of simplicity, let's rename this cube to cube 1. Yeah, so let's see now in the game view, how does it look like this. Okay, it looks better. Let's go back and start writing some script. Right click, create JavaScript. Let's name it move1. Double click it, and you should see the MonoDevelop software development environment, which has a special plugin for Unity, and it is automatically synchronized with Unity. So you will see when it is opened or when it is launched. Okay, we're not concerned about this. Okay, so wow, okay, so the project is not open. So let me fix that and get back. Okay, so now what I do is I just start my MonoDevelop by clicking move1.js. So this function, update function, it is actually executed upon every frame. So let's do this. What I want to do is I just want to create a script which moves the object it is applied on. Okay, so what I would do is I would use transform dot translate function to move the object along x and z axis only, because y axis is upwards and downwards. I don't want to move it upwards and downwards. So what I would do is input.get axis horizontal, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis. Input.get axis vertical controller. So that it's a simple script, has got nothing apart from transform.translate. Transform is a special function used to move, rotate, or replace an object on the screen. If you want to look at more details, go at this URL docs.unity.3.com, script preference, and transform. Click on transform. You will see many built-in variables and functions. One of the variables is rotation, which we are going to use now, and some more which we are going to use as we progress through this course. And within functions, we are now looking at translate. So translate has basically three parameters for x, y, and z axes. So excuse me. So I'll look at this in more detail later on. So right now, what we're going to do is we are going to save this, drag and drop this on the script on our main camera. Let's say first of all, as per the tutorial, let's drop on the main camera. Later on, I'll move this from main camera somewhere else. So play, and you can see our main camera is moving. So it looks very ugly. Your main camera is moving. So I'm actually going to stop from here. Stop the script from here in the main camera, and I'll apply the script on some other component. This cube, yeah, it looks better. So I'll move this cube along. Okay, so let's play this, and you will see the cube is working. Yeah, it is moving. Our plane is there, our point light is there, our cube is there, and now my move script is also working. Okay, that's brilliant. So if you have done thus far, you have created the first script already. So now let's look at one more thing. This move actually is a script which tells just to move, but at what speed it does not define that. So let's create a variable speed and give it value 5.0. Now what we would like to do is we would like to control the speed from the interface. So this, when I declare a variable over here like this, above function or above update or above start, what happens is it exposes the function. So we are exposing the function, exposing the variable to the interface. Okay, so what this means is you can write the script, but only the variables will be available to change outside the script in the interface, and there is no need to open the script again. So let's see how this works. So essentially transform.translate, as I just explained, accepts only three parameters, x, y, and z. Okay, so let's only give it x, y, and z, and we'll declare what x, y, and z is over here. Okay, we are x and we are z. Why not y? Because y is the vertical axis, the up and down movement, which is not what we want exactly. So this is horizontal and this is z axis, vertical, and if you multiply this by time dot delta time, you will be able to modify its speed in terms of um, yeah, in terms of meters per frame, meters per second, not frames per second. This is why we're using time dot delta time. Now let's see the modified script. We have applied this on Q1, so the 5 should be available over there. See, speed 5. So I can actually change this over here. Let's see if it is not as much faster as it was before. Yes, it certainly is not. So now you can see the variable from the script I can actually change from here. See, without opening the script. So now it's dead slow, and I can have it as fast as maybe 10, and you'll see, yeah, it's working. So I've got one script working now. Let's move on. What we've just learned, let me revise. We have, in terms of scripting, we have learned how to move a certain component and how to manipulate the speed of a component by exposing a variable. So you know how to expose a variable to the interface now also. So let's move forward and look at some other concepts. So what we just did is we exposed the variable and we were able to change the value over here. But what if we would like to change the behavior, sorry, we would like to change, instead of this integer value, some uh, some component. For example, we are looking at collaboration of two components like this light over here. The point light is looking at this cube 1, okay? But what if from this variable inside the script I would want it to look at plane, and I want to change that through variables over here. So this variable right now is taking integers. I would like to give game components over here. So how can I do this? Let's say I create a follow script over here, create a new script, call it follow, and what I want to do is I would like it to follow whichever component I ask it to, and I expose that that component's value over here, which I just did in a very similar fashion. So just double click this and open, and I'm going to show you right away what I mean. Okay, so this is the follow script. It is empty right now. So I want to declare a variable over here and call it target and give it type transform, and it's a simple script, and what it will do is it will let the transform object is the this object, like in Java and C, you plus you would have seen that this object means wherever the script is applied on. So if I apply this script on a spotlight, it would mean that this transform is referring to this spotlight. So whichever object I apply this on, transform dot look at, and I say look at the target. Which is the target? I don't know. Some the user will define later on target, and save this. So this target we don't know yet. Why? Because it is exposed outside the interface, and in the interface I would want to select this target, and this object, wherever it is applied on, will look at the selected target. Which object I also don't know now. I will actually apply this on my choice of objects. So let's apply this on a new light. I create a new light. Spotlight. Okay, let's bring it up further. Anyway, so I'm just trying to reposition it. Okay, so this is my spotlight. Press E to change its position, actually, rotation. Okay, so my spotlight is just over here, as being noticed right now. So I have it direct towards some other point on the plane. It looks more sharper now. Okay, so let's leave it there. Now, as can be seen, there is a spotlight right now, and it is looking at this plane, and that's all. Okay, so the script is not working because I have not attached to it. So let's drag the follow, drop, and spotlight. Now, if I run this, it will not work because I have not given the target. The target is, see, now visible over here. So this is not just 1, 2, or 3, or 4. It is actually asking me for a component. So now I'm going to write a component, or select a component over here, which is Q1, and I play, and you would see wherever the Q1 is going, the spotlight is pointing towards the Q1. Okay, and let me just increase a little bit the size of this guy, maybe 7 and 7, so I can see the spotlight. Yes, see this? So I have learned how to connect variables which are actually have values as transform components, which are the game components. I have also learned how to apply this script on objects. I've also learned how to move on my game components based on the user input, which is a keyboard of forward, backward, right, and left. Now I'm going to see how to access these game components programmatically from inside the scripts. Okay, so let's see how I can do this. This is Q1, and before that, let's do one thing. I mean, what I want to do is I want to catch the user's behavior. If a user clicks on the spacebar, which is jump, okay, then I change the behavior of the spotlight. I look at the plane. If it is looking at, let's say, if it is looking at, you see the behavior right now is it is looking at this box, this cube. So if I press jump, I would want it to look back at the plane. So this is the behavior I would want to change based on the user's input. So let's see how I can do this. So this target right now is, you see, the follows target. The follows target is what? I apply this follow on the spotlight, and the target is the Q1. So let's create a new script, and I will add this new script on the spotlight again. And what I want to do in this new script is whenever the user clicks on the switch, the space button, you change the target. It is Q1, you change it to plane, for example. Switch. Okay, so right now it's empty. I will fill it by creating by writing some more code. So I'll declare a variable switch to target of type transform semicolon, and what I want to do is, if the user, within this update function, I'm writing this code now, if the user presses the down button, only and only then button only and only then you change the target to a new target, the switch to target. And I'm not going to give the switch to target program through the interface. I am going to give this programmatically. Let's learn how to do that. This is called accessing components and scripts. Okay, so get button down, it's a jump button, which is the space bar, then do something, then actually change target. If it's the jump button, then transform, which is the current object it is applied on. Transform. Not the transform, because we are actually now looking to access a script from this. So the name of the script we want to modify is this one, follow. So we modify the script, get component follow dot target is switch to target. Okay, so let's see how I actually do this, and then I will actually change the switch to target programmatically also. So right now what we are doing is we are actually switching the target through the interface, and the next we will do is we will switch the target through my code. So let's see where is switch. Is it applied on somewhere? It is not. So it's a new script. I apply this on Spotlight. In the Spotlight, at the first place it is targeting cube 1. Okay. The second script which I just wrote, it should target something else. Let's say plane. When it should target plane? Only when the jump button is pressed. See how it works. So the follow is working, the move is working, both scripts are working. Now switch. When the user presses jump, the Spotlight should switch its target to the plane. So let's press jump. Yes. So it's no more on this button. It's looking at this place. Okay. So let's add one more behavior before we move on to accessing components programmatically. Whenever I press, if I press space again, the jump again, it should come back on this. Let's see how we can do. Open this, and just a little bit of modification I suggest, and we'll see how to do that. Or let's come back to it later on. Let's right now look at how to do these changes which I've just done programmatically. So I'm disabling this now, and I will say var switch to target is game object dot find, and you find with that name which you have given this over here, which is this q1. Okay, so you write q1, save, and that's all. So it should now do the same behavior through this code. Game object dot find means it finds it over here, from here, inside the hierarchy. Let's look at the Spotlight. The switch script is here, and if it was compiled correctly, this switch to target should have been removed. So let's say there's a problem. I think there's a problem. Yeah, switch to target. In the end, you should do dot transform, because it should be a transform object. Save it, go back in the Unity, and it should now vanish. Yes, it vanished. So now let's look at this script. Yeah, the switch to target has now been vanished, which means it happens programmatically now. Play this. Yes, so my follow script is working because the Spotlight is following my cube. The move one script is also working because my cube one is being moved, and my switches, when I press jump, it should stop following. Okay, I pressed jump, but it did not stop following it. There is some issue. Let's see what is the issue. Well, actually the issue is it should not follow the cube when I press jump. It should follow the plane. Sorry, so it's my bad. It should follow the plane when you press the cube. I press the jump. Okay, so Control S again. Go back and play, and hopefully it should work, inshallah. Yes. So yeah. Okay. So So I pressed jump, so it stopped following it. So now see, previously I did the same behavior of switching the target programmatically. Sorry, through drag and drop. I selected the component from here, and right now I did it programmatically. So this is how you access components from this list over here on the left, programmatically. So now let's add a little bit of more behavior over here. If the user selects jump first time, look at plane. If the user selects jump on a second time, look at cube 1, and keep toggling in between them. So for this, let's declare a variable var flag and give it value, for example 1, and there's a function called start which always is actually executed once in the beginning. Flag is equal to 1 is should be given 1 here, and let's give it like byte. Byte is the type of variable. It's a byte variable and the value is 1. And if now this is a nested if I would want to add over here. Only if the user press jump and if the value of flag is 1, then change it to plane. If the flag of the value is 0, then change it to cube 1. So how am I going to do that? Flag, sorry, if it's a nested if flag is equal to 1, then do this, meaning switch to target, switch to target to the plane, okay, else, and we want to define this over here actually. Initialize this over here with plane, okay, else, this whole thing should be changed to cube 1. Cube 1, cube space 1. Okay, and this also should come here again. Basically, we can have this structured in a better way also, but let's just stick to this as long as it serves our purpose. So if it's jump, then check if it's 1. Yes, it's 1. Then change it to plane. So now the plane is this. Okay, and when this is done, then change the value of flag back to 0 so that it continues its behavior. Else change it to cube 1. So just save this and let's try running it now again. Okay, so my follow is working, my move is working, and inshallah hopefully my switch is also working. So when I press jump, it stops following. So when I press jump again, it should now by right start following this guy. Yes, it does work. Wow. Okay, so that's cool. So stop following it, start following. This is a behavior that you just added. Now look at some more. This is called accessing components. We've learned how to access components graphically and also accessing components through the code. Now let's look at how to instantiate objects. Okay, so now let's look at how to instantiate components through the scripts. This means, like, for example, when you want to fire or shoot an object, that's when you would like to instantiate a component, for example. and also uh, how does it happen and when does it happen and exactly where are the new objects produced and what kind of objects are produced. How this is some of the questions which we should be asking. Now let's look at how we actually shoot. We shoot using the fire button, which is defined in the edit project settings. And if you go to inputs, you will see your axis, expand axis, and fire 2, fire 3 is over there. You click on fire 1, it will tell you it's your left control button on the keyboard or your this is your left control button on the keyboard or your left mouse button. Okay, and both of these, using both of these, this should work. And we can also make this work through the joysticks. We're going to come to that later on. So for now, let's just close this and create a new prefab. Okay, create a new prefab and drag and drop this cube one over it. So notice its icon will change. Okay, and if you've not given it a name, it will be difficult to rename this. Let's create this again. Create this prefab and give it this name cube, for example, and then you drag and drop the cube one over it. So now what I'm going to do is I will create a new script called create script, and in this script I will create a new object. I will assign a new object basically. So we are new object, and if you type transform, and then in the update I will select if the fire button has been clicked and put update button down. If it was fire button or fire 1, actually fire does not mean anything, fire 1, because we just saw from here from the project settings, fire 1 is left control or left mouse. Okay, so let's continue this. If fire 1 has been clicked, then instantiate and this should be with an I capital. Instantiate this new object. Which new object we'll define later on. New object transform dot position transform dot rotation. This means when you want to instantiate a new object, you want to know three things. Which object I would like to instantiate? It's like a class you create objects for. Okay, so you will over here you will give it a class from the interface, and it will create new objects of that class. Okay, and that has to be a prefab, any kind of prefab, any prefab. So you want to create a prefab, its position and its rotation. These are the physical characteristics where it should be positioned and in what way should it be positioned, which part of it should be in the front. So this is what you define, meaning transform dot position, comma transform dot rotation, meaning wherever this script is applied on the same position it should have actually. Whichever component this script is applied on. Just save this. 1 second, let me come back. Okay, so yeah, this is finished. So now I will just, okay, there is a problem, unknown identifier transport. What is the problem here? yeah, sorry, transform. Transform. Okay, so now let's apply this create script on main camera, meaning, so how you do this, you on the main camera you drag and drop the create script, and then the cube script you drag and drop on the new object. So the new objects will be created of type cube, and then when you want to play it, you will see the move script is working, the follow script is working, the jump script is working. Okay, and when I press my left mouse button, I should be actually looking at instantiation, meaning one more kind of cube object should be created. If you see the script, what it is doing is it is creating a new object of this thing, and you've just seen I've applied cube over here. So since this game is working, let's click on left. You will see cube clone. So you have one more cube created, and let's just move forward. You will see this cube which is created is also moving forward because it's a cube object. Therefore, the uh, the move applies over it. Okay, so if you click this again, you will see a new cube is created. It's a clone, and I have now 3 cubes. Click again, I have now 4 cubes. There we move forward, and this is how you do instantiation. Okay, so I hope you've learned how to capture users uh, keyboard input for moving objects forward, backward, right, left, how to declare variables and expose them on the interface, and allow the user to give values of integers, for example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 100. You've also learned how to expose targets on the interface so that the user, not the user, so the programmer who is creating the script and who is creating the game can actually assign game components to those targets. You've also learned how to assign game components programmatically. You've also learned how to find game components programmatically. These game components which you have created, how to find them, how to assign them programmatically. You've also learned how to instantiate these components programmatically. So I hope you guys like this, and happy learning Unity scripting.